You've done this exact motion 500 times today without noticing. You pick up your phone, open TikTok, and start swiping through the feed with an absolutely dead stare. Your thumb just twitches mechanically. The actual psychological term for this is a variable ratio reward schedule. You didn't choose to learn it. Nobody sat down and taught you. But every single human does it, chasing tiny, unpredictable hits of dopamine exactly like a rat hitting a lever. Which is weird because we don't act like this with anything else. Not at work, not with books. Just glowing rectangles. So what's going on? Why does your brain default to acting like a lab monkey the second you open an app? The short answer is you're a primate. You're wired to hunt for patterns in a chaotic world. If you find the pattern, you eat. If you don't, you starve. Your brain rewards you for solving the puzzle. But social media algorithms deliberately break the pattern. They withhold the reward just enough to keep you guessing. You're trapped in an endless loop of maybe next time while waiting in line at Costco. B.F. Skinner first documented this exact mechanism back in 1957 in his book Schedules of Reinforcement. He put hungry rats in a box with a lever. When the lever gave food every single time, the rats got bored. They only pressed it when they were hungry. Cool, mystery solved. Except, Skinner changed the rules. He made the reward random. Sometimes the rat got food, sometimes it got nothing, sometimes it got a massive jackpot. The rats lost their tiny minds. They stopped eating normally, they stopped sleeping. They just hit the lever over and over, desperately trying to crack a code that didn't exist. They became addicted to the uncertainty itself. The variable ratio schedule was born. It's the exact same math powering slot machines in Vegas. And it's the exact same math powering your thumb right now. You're pulling the lever. You're hoping for a good video. Most are garbage, but that one good one keeps you swiping. 4 hours deep, and here's where it gets stupid. We aren't just like rats. We're worse, because we're primates, and primates absolutely love gambling. In 2005, neurobiologist Michael Platt at Duke University published a study in the journal Nature Neuroscience about monkeys and risk. He gave macaques a choice between two targets. One target always delivered a medium, safe amount of juice. The other target was a gamble. Sometimes a tiny drop, sometimes a massive flood of juice. The monkeys chose the gamble almost every time. They preferred the unpredictable risk over the guaranteed safety. They liked the thrill of the spin. Even when the math worked out to the exact same total amount of juice, they wanted the drama. Because dopamine isn't actually about pleasure. That's a massive misconception. Dopamine is about anticipation. Neurobiologist Robert Sapolsky often points this out in his lectures about monkeys anticipating a reward. The massive dopamine spike didn't happen when the monkey got the treat. It happened when the signal appeared. During the work. The maybe is the actual drug. The uncertainty creates a chemical itch in your brain that you have to scratch. The algorithm knows this. That's why TikTok doesn't just show you 10 great videos in a row. It shows you 3 bad ones, 1 okay one, and then a masterpiece, which raises a different, dumber question. If monkeys love gambling for juice, wouldn't they love TikTok? If you gave a macaque a tiny iPad, would it scroll for 6 hours until its eyes bled? Actually, no. Monkeys would eventually hate it. They'd throw the phone at a wall. Because a monkey's dopamine system is still tethered to actual physical reality. Biologists have repeatedly demonstrated this in behavioral studies. If a reward becomes entirely disconnected from actual physical survival, animal brains eventually stop responding. The monkey gets bored. If the lever doesn't eventually produce real calories or real social grooming, the macaque walks away. So why don't you walk away? Why are you still swiping at 3 a.m.? Because your biological payoff isn't juice. It's social currency. And human social currency is infinite. In 2013, neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman at UCLA published a book called Social: Why Our Brains Are Wired to Connect. He explained that in the human brain, social pain and physical pain use the exact same neural circuitry. To your primate hardware, being ignored by the tribe is physically identical to being stabbed. Getting a like, a comment, or just feeling culturally relevant is equivalent to finding a calorie-dense meal. You're gambling for social survival. Every single swipe is a desperate attempt to stay in the tribe. Don't think about that too hard. Tech companies understood this years ago. Tristan Harris, a former design ethicist at Google, wrote an essay in 2016 called How Technology is Hijacking Your Mind. He literally called the smartphone a slot machine in your pocket. The pull to refresh mechanism? That's the slot machine arm. The notification badges? They're colored bright red because red triggers evolutionary alarm systems in primate brains. The variable ratio schedule was weaponized. But in the early days, humans were coding the algorithms. They were manually tweaking the reward schedules. Now, the algorithm is tweaking itself. It's running billions of micro-experiments on human psychology every single second. It tracks how long you linger on a video. It measures your micro-hesitations. If you pause for a quarter of a second on a video about baking bread, it notes that. If you watch a guy fall off a roof twice, it definitely notes that. It builds a digital voodoo doll of your dopamine receptors. And it tests different variable ratio schedules on you specifically. Maybe your brain needs 3 bad videos before a good one. Maybe your friend needs 5. The algorithm doesn't know what a video is, it doesn't care. It just maps the inputs to the dopamine output. It's an automated addiction engine running on the hardware of a hairless ape. Real talk. But here's the weirdest part of all this. The tech billionaires didn't sit in a dark room and maliciously design a machine to break human psychology. They just told an AI to maximize engagement. They gave it a metric: time on screen. And the AI independently discovered that the most efficient way to keep a human staring at a glowing rectangle is to exploit millions of years of evolutionary survival mechanisms. It discovered the variable ratio schedule on its own. It figured out that unpredictable rewards mixed with social anxiety form an unbreakable psychological trap. It didn't hack us. It just held up a mirror to our dumbest, most primitive glitches. Not a computer. We're fighting our own DNA. We're the first species on the planet to build a trap specifically for our own reward system. A rat in a Skinner box doesn't know it's in a box. A macaque gambling for juice doesn't understand the math. But we do. We know exactly what the app is doing to us. We can read the studies. We can understand the dopamine loops. We can see the variable ratio schedule happening in real time. And we still can't stop swiping. Your thumb just keeps twitching. You're chasing a phantom reward that won't ever satisfy you because the system is designed to keep you hungry forever. Anyway, now you know. Sorry,